My name is Stefan Khaligian. I am visiting professor of Armenian Genocide Studies at Clark University, and I want to talk also about the issue of genocide denial. The eminent Holocaust and genocide professor Israel Charney has described denial as the final stage of genocide. First, the government destroys a nation physically, then it destroys its history. And that's what we're really talking about here today. The National ADL, through its 15 years of lobbying against Armenian genocide resolutions, through even its most recent statements by Mr. Foxman, has in fact made itself complicit in this multi-million-dollar denial campaign of the Turkish government that corrupts American academia, that corrupts the media. It has been going on, and the National ADL, whether you like it or not, has become complicit in it. And unfortunately, all those associated with the National ADL, and unfortunately a good program like No Place for Hate, is also, in essence, tarred by this complicity. And I would like to state that we've heard very eloquent statements from some board members here of the New England Regional ADL. And I think all of us in this room owe a debt of gratitude to the New England ADL and to those individuals for their courageous and moral stand against the position of the National ADL. We must, absolutely, were it not for the New England Regional ADL, this issue would not even be on the agenda of the national meeting. However, that's not enough. And where I have to disagree with them is in the idea that you can trust the National ADL, they've heard the message. I trust New England ADL has heard the message. I unfortunately do not trust that National ADL has. And I think all of us who believe in universal human rights cannot trust the National ADL just given its record. Let's remember what happened when this first hit the page of the Boston Globe. The first action by Mr. Foxman was not to approach the Armenian community and say, what can we do to solve this problem? How can we heal this wound? No, the first action by Mr. Foxman was to hire the most prominent PR firm in Boston, Regan Communications, to make sure that from now on all his messages are properly massaged. And clearly he is not seeing this as a moral issue, but as a PR problem, that the image of the National ADL has to be cleaned up. We all know this is a moral issue. This is not a PR problem. And for us to be assured that the National ADL will have to take it, we certainly trust the New England ADL to take this message. But I believe, and I think most of us here believe, that we need to take the step to sever ties with No Place for Hate and do it across the country, which is happening little by little. It has to be done in order for them to get the message. This is a moral issue. The National ADL has to change its position. It is not just a PR problem. Thank
you. My name is Ali Karzumanian. I'm from Cambridge, and I want to thank the members of the board members of the regional ADL for standing with us on this issue. But please understand us. We have been waiting for the recognition of our history for all our lives, and every day we have to wake up and hear Mr. Foxman say something new, offensive. He most recently said that the Armenian genocide resolution in Congress is a counterproductive diversion. He is calling our struggle to recover our dignity a counterproductive diversion. So please understand us when we are frustrated and we cannot wait any longer. I am offended and I'm hurt, as you can see, and I don't want to give the National ADL and Mr. Foxman one more day. I want to do everything to send them a strong message, and we can do that by severing ties with the ADL. I have nothing against No Place for Hate, and I really thank all the members of the regional ADL, but we have to show this symbolic message by severing ties with the National ADL today. Thank you.
The common ground here is that everybody in this room thinks, first of all, that the injustice about the failure of the world to recognize the Armenian genocide is one of the gravest injustices of the 20th century ongoing into the 21st century. The second point is the failure of ADL National to recognize this and make a forthright statement about the injustice of the Armenian genocide, the reality of the Armenian genocide, and the injustice of the Armenian genocide is itself an ongoing injustice. The third thing is that the House or Senate resolution that would have the United States recognize as part of its foreign policy the reality of the Armenian genocide is one of the best pieces of legislation that is pending today and deserves passage, and also it is incumbent upon the ADL to recognize this and unequivocally support the legislation.
I'd like to say we're all coming from the same place. We all want to see recognition from a Foxman and the ADL. What I question is the best way to achieve that. And are we cutting off our voice if we just sever our ties? Or might we have more influence if we suspend our relationship with them for the time being and see what happens when they have their November meeting? And I tend to think we might be more influential if they know we're pending their decision rather than we've turned their backs.
I have to disagree with Mario. I think if we just suspend, it's being too wishy-washy. I think the stand has to be taken. I think we should sever once and for all until they decide that a mistake has been made and correct it. Then we can always go back. But when you suspend something, they still have the leeway to stay 6 more months or 8 more months. So I disagree.
We have to work through November. We can't wait, hold our breath to do our jobs when the national and the meets. So as a commissioner, I'm very concerned that sitting back and doing nothing gives credence to say, well, Newton isn't really taking stand, they're sitting and waiting. I'm very concerned about that because I feel that it puts each one of us, it puts the onus on us. We've taken an oath, and I feel very strongly that we need to do our job free of any kind of interference. Hearing the voices of the Armenian community and hearing my own, Jewish conscience speaking out inside, I cannot say that we are able to be in the same boat with the ADL. To associate a human rights campaign with one that is that awry is the problem. And so that, I feel, would damage what we are trying to do too much.
I'm listening to everybody, and I am so torn, I cannot tell you. I think about my family who totally perished in the Holocaust, and my heart goes out to you because I have the same feeling. Then I think of the ADL and I say, but they are some hope people around the world. Can we just cut them off completely? What do? Do we sever ties, or do we keep going? And I'm really and truly confused.
I think the injustice has been done for 92 years.
I believe that.
I
believe that.
Our motion is to cease participation in the No Place for Hate program until national ADL takes definitive action consistent with the objectives stated in the Newton Human Rights Commission letter to Mr. Foxman dated 8/24/07. A national ADL must fully and unequivocally recognize the Armenian genocide. National ADL must actively support the congressional resolution HR 106, and National ADL must immediately reinstate Anti-Defamation as Director of New England. They did number 3, but number 2 needs to be done, and number 1 has not been done unequivocally. We're still waiting on that. So we have the cease participation language.
Immediately? Immediately cease.
Yes.
an urgency.
Make number 2 read immediately cease participation. So the current motion before the Human Rights Commission is to immediately cease participation in the No Place for Hate program until national ADL takes definitive action consistent with the objectives stated in the Human Rights letter Mr. Foxman dated 8/24, which we just read.
All right. Having heard the motion, I want to call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. I've been on the commission approximately 15 years, and all of these years, this really is the most important issue that I feel that's confronted us. And I hope you all will feel that we're doing the right thing, because we're all coming from the same place.
Thank you.